One of the most devastating, life-changing events for parents is finding out their child has a birth defect. Having a child with a birth defect impacts the whole family. Parents of children who have birth defects face unique challenges and desire to make life better for their kids. Some of the challenges parents face involve communication with healthcare professionals, quality of life issues, creating awareness and advocating for research and funding, finding resources and finding support, and helping teens transition to appropriate, specialized adult care. After a child is diagnosed with a birth defect, parents often go through stages of grief, similar to those that they would have if they had lost the child. While that may seem odd to many, the parents of this child actually did lose a child. The normal, healthy child that they were expecting before diagnosis. Parents had a vision of life with their child that changes drastically post-diagnosis. Anencephaly is a severe neural tube closure defect that has been classified as one of the most lethal congenital defects, with a first-year mortality rate of 100%. However, a newborn baby amazed doctors by surviving that rare medical condition. Also, if you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these real-life stories every day. Now, back to the story. Anith was born with a fatal birth defect. She has a huge crater in the top of her head and a large protrusion at the back of it. Despite a portion of her brain missing with part of her skull, she has all her limbs and they're working fine. Her mom said that after her birth, "I knew there was something very wrong with my baby when she was born." Her birth defect is known to be caused by Anencephaly, a disorder that affects the formation of the head during embryonic development, resulting in the absence of bony covering over the head. This rare birth defect is sometimes known as open skull. It happens when the neural tube, a channel in the fetus that normally closes to form the spinal cord and brain, doesn't close as it should. It causes part of a fetus's brain, scalp, and skull to not form properly. As a result, children with anencephaly are born without part of their skull and brain. They are often blind and deaf. The defect occurs during the 3rd and 4th weeks of pregnancy. Anith and her parents Srey, and in rural Tabong Kamong province in eastern Cambodia in February. She lives with her parents Srey and Hyang in the Pronhia Krayak district. They do not have the financial means to pay for medical treatment for their daughter's deformity. Though it is believed that there is no cure for anencephaly, the defect can be corrected by some form to make it less fatal than it is. However, Anith's parents have tried their best in raising enough money to support their daughter through desperate means, like selling their house and land and appealing to the conscience of the general public. "I have cried for days and asked people to donate money," Srey, mother of the child, was quoted as saying by The Sun. "We are poor and have sold our home and land to try and save my daughter. She is healthy, but her head does not have all of the skull. We are facing hardship and struggling to raise her to survive on the planet. Our only hope is that the doctors may be able to help, or a foreign doctor maybe." The family are desperately crowdfunding to take their baby girl to a hospital in the capital city, Phnom Penh, where they hope doctors will be able to help. According to the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, anencephaly is a serious birth defect in which a baby is born without parts of the brain and skull. It is a type of neural tube defect. It is so rare it affects 3 in every 10,000 pregnancies in the United States. Brain malformations caused by anencephaly are rare, but children can survive with the condition. As deadly as anencephaly is, there have been recorded survival cases of it. In 2014, Jackson Buell from North Carolina was born with just 20% of his brain. Doctors concluded he might encounter several disabilities, like being paraplegic, deaf, and mute, and a very short lifespan. He battled all odds and lived past his 3rd birthday like a normal kid. A baby was born without 90% of her brain, but she still managed to survive. Another heartbreaking case saw a 6-year-old boy battle through a syndrome that left a 4-inch crack in his skull. So there is hope for Anith. She can live like a normal kid, but only if her parents manage to find enough funds for her medical care before time runs out. In another tragic video, a hospital's negligence leaves a baby with permanent damage to eyesight. As a result of the hospital's failure, the baby suffered brain damage upon birth. Liverpool Hospital Trust will have to pay out £15 million after a baby boy suffered brain damage at birth and developed cerebral palsy. The boy, known only as PW, as he cannot be named for legal reasons, was born at Liverpool Women's Hospital in 2013, when his mother went into early labor at 38 weeks. But while the baby was born by emergency C-section, the boy's heart rate began slowing due to a uterine rupture. The Liverpool Women's NHS Foundation Trust later admitted a breach in its duty of care and said an earlier delivery should have occurred. he suffered a catastrophic brain injury because of a delay in the detection and treatment of the herpes simplex virus, leaving him with permanent damage to his eyesight and in need of full-time care. Following legal action brought by law firm Simpson Miller against Liverpool Women's Hospital NHS Foundation Trust on behalf of the family, the trust also admitted that it earlier had delivered the baby, PW would have avoided all neurological injury. The trust was ordered to pay the family £15 million at an approval hearing at Manchester High Court held 3 years later. Hospital management said they sent their sincere apologies to the boy and his family, and said lessons had been learned. The largest medical negligence claim in the UK is thought to be £37 million, paid out by the West Hereford Hospital NHS Trust in 2018 to a 6-year-old boy. Campaigners say cases like these show the need for an urgent inquiry at parliamentary level into the state of maternity care across the nation. The £15 million compensation care package, which includes a lump sum payment of £5.3 million, as well as annual payments for the remainder of the child's life, will now be used to fund a lifetime care, therapies, specialist equipment, and accommodation. Speaking on behalf of the family, lawyer Jody Cook said, "While the severity of PW's condition, which impacts his development, mobility, and his ability to communicate, means he will never be able to live independently, the funds will ensure he can live to the fullest potential," she said. Because these payments will run out for the rest of the child's life, the reality is that the value of this claim could well exceed $15 million estimate. However, what's far more important than the numbers is the fact that this compensation will offer my client security and peace of mind for his future. Following an admission of liability from the trust in 2016, PW was awarded interim payments on account of damages, which ensured PW had access to care and rehabilitation whilst the case was going on. Speaking about the outcome of the case, PW's mother said this: "It is a relief to finally get to this point and know our son's needs will be met for the rest of his life. We know that nothing can change his injuries, but knowing we can help to support him and use the compensation to put in place the substantial care package that he needs is some form of consolation." A Liverpool Women's NHS Foundation Trust spokesperson said, "Liverpool Women's NHS Foundation Trust would like to offer its sincerest apologies to PW and his family for the failings in relation to PW's delivery in 2013. These failings have been carefully considered and lessons have been learned by the trust. The trust recognizes that money cannot truly compensate PW, but hopes that the settlement, which the court has now approved in this matter, PW and his family will be able to move forwards in the knowledge that PW's care needs now and into the future are met, as well as recognizing the very significant care and input which PW's parents and family have provided to date. Liverpool Women's NHS Foundation Trust would like to express its very best wishes to PW and his family." Ms. Cook added the family were extremely relieved the case had come to an end and very much looking forward to moving on with their lives. She said, "No amount of money will ever compensate the family for what they have endured over the years as a result of an injury that could and should have been avoided, but it will provide some financial stability which will fund PW's immediate and longer-term care needs. The family are extremely relieved that the case has now been drawn to a close and are looking forward to moving on with their lives as best they can. Whilst PW will never be in a position to live independently, the care package he has been awarded by the High Court does mean he can live in a specially adapted home with dedicated caregivers and with access to specialist equipment. As a trust, we seek to learn lessons from any adverse outcomes and use these lessons to improve our care. Management assured patients." If you enjoyed this video, kindly give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section down below, and don't forget to share it with others. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.